Welcome in the Stiffs. Thank you very much to our sponsors for Series 2, Budgeon Motors. Been established for 40 years, best car dealership in Shropshire.
Debatable.
Well, we've all had cars from there. Gav, you been to Budgeon?
Yeah, a few times now.
Dave, too big time. He only wants Teslas, doesn't he?
But to be fair though, they do Teslas. Do any car. You want a car, they get your car.
I just spoke to Nine. They are fast, to be fair.
Dave's
backed them. You know they're good when Dave's on side with them.
I've been offered 20%.
Have we sorted out the discount? Come down to Budgeon, mentioning the Stiffs, and what we'll have to sort out. What's that discount?
Yeah, about 90%.
Yeah, we'll have
just
to
don't
sort
tell
that.
the MD.
That'll have to be sorted out at the showroom.
Yeah, to be confirmed, that one.
Yeah.
I was saying to Sam earlier, people say, what did you learn in the game? I learned a lot of stuff, what not to do.
You're 44 now then, aren't you?
43.
43. It's young though, isn't it? 43.
Our stats are all over the place.
It's not that young really nowadays, is it?
Yeah, well, you had a car when you were 18 at Persco. There's no insurance and no tax or anything on that.
No,
There's nothing. There's nothing.
I had a sunbed shop on the top of our road, which was called Tenerife, I think it was called. They were terrified to come in our dressing rooms, weren't you? When they were kids, you could see it in their faces, but it gave them that grand.
The Euros. How long in?
Sorry, I shouldn't have brought that up,
15 minutes in and the Euros have come out. There's a shock, isn't it?
No.
Could you have done anything different then, do you reckon?
Could have not buttered that lad and got sent off. Me and Luke played every now and then when Jemson wanted a day off or he was injured or whatever. The lads got us over that line, and to be fair, that year, that league, it weren't great, was it?
Bit of luck as well involved, wasn't
Yeah, we had loads of luck. But I played up front a little bit when Jimmy didn't bring himself on at 44.
It's when Jimmy brought himself on instead of you. You're a bit disappointed, isn't it? Jimmy Dario had signed both them from us, hadn't
Yeah, he did.
Get the band back together.
Get the lads back together. How come I didn't get a call and get involved in that?
Luke went to me, Carl Robertson rings me and goes, don't go to Doncaster. I went, what? He went, trying to sell you to Doncaster for 50 grand. I went, you joking? He went, no. So when I seen the manager, he went, you can leave. I said, why? He said, he give me a chance. He went, I'm bringing a lad called Rodri in from Barcelona to Sheffield Wednesday. I went,
fair enough. She said to me 20 years ago, Ryan Lowe would managing the Championship. I would have gone no way. I'd have picked 100 people before you.
So was it after 5 months we didn't get paid? There's a saying in life, isn't it? Tough times don't last, tough people do, and I think I was one of them tough people. What I did do is I went down there, sacrificed my family for 2.5 years to get them back into League One, definitely, and I've made no mistake about it. We want to try and get in the playoffs next season to try and force our way into the big league. He said, and is that your formation you're going to stick to, 3-5-2, because you look very well organised and you're well structured and you knew what you were doing? I said, well, it is now, you've said that. and it's a case of
what do you think, Alison?
Yeah,
what do you think?
Fantastic. As we speak today, if a Premiership job come available, they're going for them.
Right, welcome in the Stiffs podcast, everybody. Thanks very much for joining us. It's been a while. Sam Aiston, Dave Edwards, Gavin Cowan, and we've got a very, very special guest. Dave, do you want to introduce our special guest?
Yes, I will do. Very special guest. So, started his football playing career at Burscough before joining the Football League and coming to Shrewsbury Town. Went on then to play for Chester, Crewe, Bury, Sheffield Wednesday, MK Dons and Tranmere. Made a total of 626 appearances, scoring 185 goals, 4 promotions with Sheffield Wednesday and Bury as a player, and then moved on to become a manager, starting at Bury, winning promotion to League One, on to Plymouth, 1 promotion to League One again, and now manager of the Championship's Preston North End, the one and only Ryan Lowe.
Ryan Lowe. Ryan Lowe.
Thanks for having me. You've done me out with a few goals there, though, Dave.
This is Sam's prep, this is.
Yeah, you should know, because I've been on your case for these, haven't I?
What, I've done
213 career goals. They're league goals, then. But you should know, all the goals count.
All
goals count.
1,000,000%.
So what is
213.
27 goals.
Some introduction, that. How many promotions a player? 4 promotions a player.
4,
and you've already nearly tipped that as a manager, right? Been a manager 2 minutes. You got 2 promotions?
Yeah, no, mate. It's been a whirlwind, to be honest. I think it's 4 years now since, obviously, this time 4 years ago, I was just getting ready to become a full-time manager, if you like, in terms of given the opportunity at Bury. It was surreal, I must say, the caretaker roles I had and the managers I'd work with and the managers I'd work with as a player. I was saying to Sam earlier, people say, what did you learn in the game? I learned a lot of stuff, what not to do, to be honest with you. And that's not digging any managers out, but that's managers when I play for them and and even managers who I've worked under. So it's been a bit of a whirlwind. It's been enjoyed every second of it. It's been fantastic to get to the Championship within 4 years.
You're 44 now then, aren't you?
43.
43. It's young though, isn't it? 43.
Our stats are all over the
that's
place.
amazing.
tonight.
Not that young really nowadays, is it? Because there's
In
a lot of
management?
there's a lot. It might be. I could probably be one of the longest serving managers in the country, maybe. Well, probably in the top 10, maybe, I would have thought. Because for 4 years I've been in a full-time job, and there's not many managers that get them reins no more, is there? But yeah, it's been enjoyable, and one I just want to keep continuing to keep going wherever I can get to.
So let's go right back to the start then, Lowe. Obviously, as a player, you first started Burscough, obviously being a Scouser, that's that part of the world.
Yeah.
And what was that like? Give us a bit of an insight into that.
Do you know what, mate? Yeah, it was. And we're still actually in touch with all the lads. We've still got a Burscough group, lads.
Love that.
Chat all them years ago. What's that now? 24 years ago. And they're all good lads. And
All still in contact.
All still in contact.
That's quite
It wasn't a WhatsApp group, it's carrier pigeons back then.
Yeah, that was it. Well, it's only just started the WhatsApp group.
But this is no academy or anything. You weren't signed with an academy.
well-
You were 18. You were 18
Yeah,
playing non-league
look,
football, which
go-
is
go-
unusual, isn't it?
Yeah, going through, when I was a kid, look, we're looking at the kids outside now, we were talking about them, how good they played and how good they didn't play and what. And I was the same. And there was a time in my career when I was a kid and I was playing for Liverpool, and I just knew I weren't good enough. I knew I was playing with special players like Sir Gerrard and that, and I was obviously a striker, and I knew I wouldn't get the opportunity because behind me was like the Fowlers, Owens and stuff coming through the ranks. But a long story short, I had to then go and play Sunday League and find a way and playing with people up and down Merseyside, the artists, people on the streets, if you like, and where I was brought up from, and playing for the Sandon Dock and the Waterloo Dock, and then I got introduced to Peter King, and I ended up going to Burscough which we talk about the lads in a minute, but I'm not going to name them all. They all know who they are. And people say, what was it like? Well, without them, I probably wouldn't have went on the journey I went on, because as you know, Gav, non-league lads, the characters in them are fantastic, aren't they? We'll talk about it in a minute, with the lads who Jimmy Quinn brought with us to Shrewsbury, or out of non-league,
Yeah.
But these lads were so good with me, and they give me the belief to say, look, you've got something special going on here, keep doing what you're doing. Pissing on me in the showers and that, obviously.
Character building.
That's mixed messages, isn't it?
Character building.
And then when you get that love for a group of lads, and when I left them, I was gutted really, but obviously I left them to start my professional career.
It's men, isn't it? You're playing with men, and you're playing with grounded people who are working, scaffolders,
funny
builders,
story, really, Sam. Listen, you know me, I've always loved my cars, and I was fortunate to have a car, and I think I used to get 50 quid a game at Burscough.
And you had a car when you were 18 at Burscough. There's no insurance and no tax or anything on that.
No,
There's nothing. There's nothing.
No, I think it was £30 and £20 a goal. So anyway, by that time, I'd fill the car up, £30. By the time I got from my house in Anfield to Burscough, the petrol was gone. But I was the soft one. The lads used to go, can you pick us up on the track? I go, yeah, I'll pick you up. So I picked them up. We'd get to the game. We'd win or whatever. They'd go in the barons, they'd have a few pints, and then, I'm still there at 8, 9 o'clock, got to bring them all home. But they were a fantastic group that led me into what I was trying to achieve and get into the professional game. And the learning I did in that non-league at Burscough, and the promotion we had from Unibond Division 1 to the Premier Division was unbelievable.
Were you doing anything alongside your football at that point? 18 years
Yeah,
old?
do you know what, Dave?
Don't ask that, Dave.
Yeah, no, my dad and my granddad had a gym in Liverpool called Seal Street Gym, and at the time my dad had set me up I had a sunbed shop on the top of our road, which was called Tannereef, I think it was called.
Tannery. Brilliant.
And I had my sister at the time who used to work there, and my cousin, and I was getting a few quid off that. But if the truth be known, at that season at Burscough, if I wouldn't have signed for Shrewsbury the year later, I'd have signed somewhere, because I was sort of hot property in the non-league. You know yourself, Gav, in the non-league, everyone knows the best goal scorers, don't they?
You scored a zillion as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I scored 38 goals in one season.
Yeah.
So I always knew I'd get an opportunity. And then it was, from then on, it was Dave Fogg rang me, actually, because I'd went into Everton, Tranmere, Rochdale, Hull. I was all over the place there, just to name the ones I can remember.
Trialing.
Silent, yeah. And I got rejected from them all. I was about to sign for Hull. Warren Joyce and Gary Brabham were there. And I was getting picked up from him on the Lancs in this Vito van. And he didn't turn up one morning. I thought, where are they? Anyway, phones, I'm thinking, no real mobile phones then, know what I mean? It was just like, if you had a mobile phone, it was, so phone box, no joy. So anyway, I get myself back home. looks on the news or the teletext, what it was, he'd been sacked as old manager. And he was saying he was going to give me a contract. So I had to go back to the drawing board. The knockbacks were relentless. And then it was a fella called Sid Benson, who was at Everton. I went and actually played a couple of games for Everton's B team. And our Kendall put me and said, look, you're just a bit too old for us for what we want, but we're going to recommend you to Kevin Ratcliffe and Dave Fogg at Shrewsbury. And I got a phone call off Dave Fogg, and he said, look, just come in pre-season. You're going to just make sure you've got a good attitude and make sure you're fit, do plenty of running, and, you know, we'll have a look at you. And if you're right, we'll give you a contract. And I was there for a week, and they offered me a 12-month contract, yeah.
You got signed within a week, did you?
Yeah, I was better than you in that week. Let me say,
I can't remember you, mate.
Well, I can remember you because you couldn't even put a cross on the money. I'm waiting. Come on, Sam, you're supposed to be playing for Sunderland. Put one on my head.
That's what makes it even more extraordinary that you got signed in a week.
He got signed in a week despite doing crossing the finishing with me, isn't it? I'm like, you're going to do well. Let's go 38 goals a year, mate, if I'm playing left wing.
Go back to the missus. How was training? Yeah, the geezer on the wing. You can't miss the first man.
I thought it was signed as kids from Sunderland. I thought he'd be better, but never mind. Anyway.
What were the standout characters then when you first walked through the door at Shrewsbury? Was anyone who really kind of, not just the big names football-wise, but big characters?
At the time, the main one was obviously Sam because of his curly hair. And
the best
you look, don't you? And, you know, when you've gone to clubs, Dave, and all he is, you Google or you'll see who he is. And when I'm going, I'm thinking, who are these players? And obviously Sam was one in terms of coming from Sunderland. Did you just sign that year as well, permanent?
I signed the same. I signed the same as you and Des. I remember I'm joking about that, but you come on the first day of pre-season, did you? Yeah, so you were there from the start.
I was there from the start. I remember staying in Mr. Tench's for the weekend.
Yeah, on the corner.
So, but the biggest one, Dave, was Ian Jenkins. He was like a prima donna, Jenks. Did you ever play with Jenks?
He's a full-back. He played international one. He played for Northern Ireland.
Well, yeah. Oh, he was an international. I couldn't wait to tell you. Yeah. He played for Everton. He was a boss fella, and he was one that helped me right through it. You know, and ended up sharing lifts with him, and we'd take turns a piece of driving in. But he was this kid who played for Dundee. He played for Everton a couple of games, and Chester, he was a bit of a Chester legend, and I'm thinking he was a bit older at the time, and he had this big Mondeo ST. RST. You know, he's just top man in the Mondeo. He's got Mondeo, he has. You just knew he was one of these fellas who, like, you know, he was prim and proper and that. He was one of them footballers, proper footballers, like, and him and Sam and Spencer Whelan was one that stood out. Remember Spencer Whelan? God bless him, he's not here with us no more, but Scouser, he was obviously another Scouser. And then once I got to know them, that was my car school, really. And
so who was your car school? You
well, early doors, there was me, Spenner, Jenks, and Dunbavin. So
that's all. That is horrible.
They had impacts, didn't they?
Well, you're paying for everything next. That's the tightest car school in the world.
What happened was when I was coming up on trial, I can't remember whether I come with Bavo, because obviously being friends with Stevie, he was good mates with Bavo, and they still are. And he said, look,
Bavo and Jarrod.
Yeah,
Bavo and Jarrod are best mates. Yeah.
So he phoned him and said, look, listen, my mate Ryan's going up on trial. You look after him. And I remember staying with Bavo and his missus at the time in Shirk for a little while as well. But the pleasing thing was going back from Bearsco. You know, I was running every day of the week because I knew I had to go and, you know, be fit in pre-season. And as I say, my lads obviously in your garden there now. We just drove past the college, haven't we? Shrewsbury College, where we used to train. I went, I used to train there, son. He's like, yeah, I'm not bothered. But, you know, they're like the memories and that. And like, you know, for me to come up and get a pro contract and more or less leave Liverpool behind in a way, because I did end up obviously living with Sam for large parts of the week as well as my career went on there. But it was something I'd wanted to do, and to get that contract after a week, a 12-month contract, was brilliant. And then obviously further down the line, I think it was there 6 months, and they offered me a 3.5-year contract. So that's when I knew I had to get my foot in the door, because people say the hardest part's getting the contract. Sorry, the easiest part's getting the contract. The hardest part's staying in the game, isn't it? That long, you know. So yeah, mate, it was good, and it was a special moment.
It's consistent with obviously a lot of the guys that we're meeting on podcasts, and they talk about characters that have helped them through. And I always had the belief that the YTS apprenticeship was always that massive part of my life. I actually didn't enjoy mine, but I look back and think how brilliant it was for me moving forward. But I think it's been really consistent, whether you've been like a Connor Cody, whether you've been like obviously a Ryan Lowe now, and it doesn't have to be the apprenticeship. When you go into non-league, you have that apprenticeship there anyway, don't you? Yeah. And I think that's what we're seeing. Joe was the same, wasn't he? And we're seeing that consistency through people who are being supported by other teammates. They're not having it their own way. You know, you're going in, you're having to clean boots, you're having to wait outside for a couple of hours while the lads are having a few beers. You've got to take them home. You almost, you've got to earn the right to move up that hierarchy, and that gives you the hunger as well, doesn't it?
100%,
and Sam alluded to it there. You've scored 38 goals for Burscough in a season, but none of them lads will go, oh, Ryan, can I get you a drink? None of them lads are like, oh, you, young'un, get to the bar now. You're getting the rounds in. You're like, I've got the least money. Don't care. Get the beer and then wait for us outside. And that's a grounding, isn't it?
It is a grounding. And look, Dave might disagree with me, but I'm 100% backing of this. Him and the likes of Joe and that, they were terrified to come in our dressing rooms, weren't you, when they were kids? You could see it in their faces, but it gave them that ground. And then when they did come up with us, because like so now,
you say that, Dave, don't you?
Definitely. Well, look, that's good that you've agreed with it, because there's so many kids now and there's so many people that doesn't happen to. So even me coming from non-league, I was a chirpy little scouser in the end. You know what I mean? I end up being me. And you know, still me now, but the fact of the matter, when you've got some good talent coming through the ranks, they've got to buy into what you're doing. And then, you know, the nights out we had in Liverpool, he's on my couch and we're looking for Joe Hart all around the city centre. I'll tell you what happened in town, like, but you know, in terms of the podcast. And he's like, what's going on here, you know? And I'm like, that's life, that's us as lower league footballers of where you got to try and get to. But I always remember, I don't think the kids get that now, because there's obviously other things that you can't do with the kids and stuff, you know what I mean? Like cleaning boots and that now is gone, hasn't it? Yeah. Coming in, scrubbing the showers,
pinning them down, stripping them naked, polishing the bollocks and all that.
You can't do that, no?
I've never ever done that.
No, that just how it's
But my grounding come from non-league, and I think Dave and Joe's grounding come from football league, but with lads who had that mentality that, you know, the banter and, you know, surviving in them little sort of situations where, you know, come on, we might need you outside on that pitch to perform. You can't go in your shell. And I remember the ones, who was the little winger we used to have? He was your age.
Ross Stevens.
No, little kid. Ross was a boss lad. He was my boot boy. The little curly haired one. Dead Murph. Murph fell by the wayside because he couldn't handle it. Yeah. I'm right, aren't I? He couldn't take it on. Where Dave and Joe gone, I've got to embrace this. And they were kids when they come through. Luke Rogers, one of my best mates. He was a terror. He just embraced it like, yeah, come on then, let's go. And he went from that size to that size overnight. And we're like, whoa, what have you been having? So
well, we knew what he was having.
Them type of players who embraced it, they went on and had good careers, Gav,
But you mentioned there, really important though, the resilience again, like it's brilliant that when you just said that, going to all these different clubs, getting told no, like it's a massive part of it. We talk about it all the time. Well, you will get told no.
Yeah, you will. I said to Sam before, I was in the process of doing a book a couple of years ago. It was before I...
You weren't writing that yourself, though, were you?
No, definitely not. That's a few good for that. And I was gonna... It was going to be about me and my journey of getting rejections all the way through, because I feel it'll be good for someone.
Is that something you're in the process of doing now?
No, I was, and then I stopped it because I went into the management. There's just no...
That's some story now, though.
It will be. Maybe I might do it. I don't know if I have got the time, and it won't be a massive. It'll be a book for kids the age of 15 to probably 20, I'd say, and that type of category, to say, look, you know, you can achieve your goals of what you're trying to do. I come from non-league Burscough to the championship, you know, and that was my aim, because you're never ever going to get the Premiership. But
what was Dave's book again?
It probably.
What was Dave's book?
I don't know.
Have you read that?
That was League 2 to the Euros, that one.
The Euros. How long in?
Sorry, I shouldn't have brought that up.
15 minutes in and the Euros have come out. There's a shock, isn't it?
No, sorry. That was my fault. I crossed it in, Dave, you finish him.
But dealing with rejection, like I said, dealing with rejection as well, though, isn't it? And that's not the end of the road.
Well, Dave, look, your lads, you know, you're going to deal with it, aren't you? Your lads, I'm dealing with my lad now, 16. He wants to be a footballer, and, you know, you've got to give him these arse treatment to say, look, mate, you've got to do this before you can get there. And ultimately, they are going to get rejections in life, whether it's love, whether it's football, jobs, whatever it is, they're going to get it. It's how you're resilient from it. And I think resilience is a big word now for kids, because you know, you look at kids and you go, oh yeah, I've been here and I've got mates and whatever. Most of my mates are all from 23 years ago, really. Like so Sam, Luke Rogers, you know, still speak to Jenks now and then. Speak to Dave Cook, who was there with us at Shrewsbury. You know, them type of people who you speak to all the time, they're your real, because they're your first bunch of lads who you sort of first
met. Shared like amazing memories and that.
Boss memories, and, like,
defeats and fights.
Relegations, everything, you know, everything that goes on in football. But again, mate, I think the resilience day for youngsters who are listening and who do listen, it's got to be big.
Anyone who listens to this podcast, I mean, you could literally rename this podcast the Resilience Podcast, because it comes up every time, doesn't it? It comes up regardless of whether it's Joe, obviously Scottish Premier, Connor, England International, Kevin Radcliffe from however many years ago, to yourself, who's like current Championship manager. that word comes up every single time. And me and Sam have spoke about it so many times about having that camaraderie with your teammate, being able to, and it just doesn't feel like they have the same anymore. I'm not trying to obviously play it down now and be all doom and gloom, but
you can build it, Gav. You can. I mean, you were saying before you were trying to change the culture. I try and change cultures everywhere I go. I've only had 3 jobs, and I want to change the culture of every job I went in. The Berry culture was not right. You had lads who were earning more than others, and couldn't wait to tell people. And we went to Plymouth. We had lads who didn't play but got accused of it's your fault we got relegated and whatnot, and I give them opportunities, and you change the culture. Preston North End now I've gone in and the culture was okay, but I'm saying, look, this is just a soft culture. You've got to get in there and get dirty, and you've got to, you're 13 places or whatever you finish. We finished 13th, joined 12th. You're 12 places away from the Premier League. Come on, let's challenge each other. So along the way, you always have that, and I think it's important that you've got to challenge the players as well to try and get where you want to get to.
So thinking about that, so obviously as a manager now, obviously we were there when we got relegated, weren't we, with Kevin Ratcliffe? What could you have done anything different then, do you reckon?
I could have not buttered that lad and got sent off. Isn't that what you're on about? You lined me up there, didn't you? Do you know what? I think that
What would you have done if you were manager there? Because we had some good players.
Look, I knew. I've had it now as a manager. People get sent off. Don't mean to get sent off. That why I got sent off was because, and I think a lot of the Shrewsbury fans, well, a minority probably, didn't like me because of it. But what they didn't know is the football club meant a lot to me. I didn't want to get relegated, but when someone goes like that to you, you're going down, and sort of puts his face in your face. Well, you don't really do that to many Scousers.
Who was that against? Then who was that?
It was against Carlisle. We were already down anyway. I think we had loads of games in hand, and the pitch was flooded.
Yeah.
And I think we had about 6 games in hand, and everyone's going, "Oh, it'll be all right. We'll be all right."
We were joking about that before.
And I've obviously come from non-league. And in my second season, I think it was, or my third season, I've gone back non-league to the conference. So I was absolutely devastated when we did get relegated. But yeah, one thing I probably could have changed was the manager probably could have played me more, because I reckon I'd have scored more goals. And that's just being brutally honest. We played, and Jags, because Luke and Gemma played up front. I played left wing. Played up front, Jags played right wing. So me and Jags always used to battle it out for right wing, to be fair, and we were very good mates, as you well know. Jemson and Luke, I think Jemson picked himself, as you said. He had Ratcliffe on toast, didn't he? To be fair, I hope Brad has said that. But again, he was a senior pro and scored loads of goals. I get that.
Big name. And
Luke was a little goal machine, weren't he? And me and Luke played every now and then when Jemson wanted a day off or he was injured or whatever. But again, I just felt Sam, what I did have is I had that work ethic of just working my socks off
and score a goal.
And I'd score a goal. If I got an opportunity, I'd score a goal. But talking about that, I remember scoring a goal. I think I robbed one off Jemson just on the line. I poked it in and I ran away celebrating down to the... what was the
Riverside?
The Riverside end.
Take it, he didn't run with you.
Oh, we ran over to Ratcliffe. Get him off! Get him off! But there was... I think we all probably could have done better that year, do you know what I mean? Including you, instead of running 100%. Out the gates when the gates open, you're just trying to better cross and you keep running and you touch takes it outside. But I think the games, what we had in hand, that killed us a bit, that, because we all felt, we'll be all right. But
got a bit complacent, maybe.
Yeah. And the highs of the FA Cup as well. That became the focus, didn't it?
Yeah, the FA Cup, and that was probably a bad thing, really, because people say now, down the lower leagues, get to the 3rd round, enjoy your day, and then get out. Whether it's at Old Trafford, Goodison, wherever it is. We obviously had Everton at home and Chelsea at home. But yeah, the highs of the FA Cup as well that year.
Did you, when you first signed for Shrewsbury, then going back a little bit, did you see a big difference in the standard playing, or did you go there and be a bit like, it isn't that much better than the non-league?
Do you know what, Dave? Right, that non-league team, that Bearscough team, if they'd have been a bit fitter and they weren't all 30 plus. And they weren't working 9 till 5 to feed the families and pay the mortgages, they were probably technically better than most of the players we had at Shrewsbury that year.
Yeah.
But just because of where they'd been and they'd had their time and they were older and finished, and once I'd got my feet into the ground and my foot in the door, if you like, and got my head down, I knew I could have a career in professional football. Yeah. I knew it, but all that was resilience, dedication, try and be the best you can be. And I always knew, as Sam said, if I got an opportunity, I knew I'd score a goal. And then we had some good players, didn't we? Had some average players. But yeah, I think after a few weeks of being there and getting my head down, and once I knew I was fit, I was fine. I felt at home.
And then when Town got relegated, was there ever a point where you thought, I might be moving on to stay in the league? Or was you...
I had opportunities. I had opportunities to go, I think. But but I wanted to pay back what weren't all my fault, like getting sent off. But I wanted to pay back. If I'd been relegated with a team, I want to try and get them back up at the first attempt. And then when obviously Ratters got the sack and then Jimmy Quinn come in, I was thinking, okay, he's had that non-league approach and come from Northwich, didn't he? And I thought he might like me a little bit, and I got an opportunity to get in the team. And then he brought loads of lads who we were talking about before. Was that your first season?
First full season. I made my debut.
Jimmy, you were telling me before, and Jimmy Quinn come in with Dave Cook and River. The three of them come in all like wearing leather jackets, weren't they?
So I learned.
We got you in the T-Birds.
I learned, right? I said before, I've learned what not to do with some managers. I've learned a lot to do with some managers well. And when them three walked in the away dressing room at Gay Meadow, I'm sure they all had 3 leather jackets on. I thought, who the hell are these? But in fairness, Jimmy Quinn, Rivo was being on the sunbeds, big red face. Dave Cook was sitting there just like laughing at everyone. And Jimmy's walked in with this big coat on. But I wanted to obviously get Town back into the league, which we did, didn't we, at the first attempt? And we won on playoffs, didn't we?
So what did Jimmy Quinn do well then to do that? Now as a manager, what do you think he did well?
I just think he had a good group of players, and a good group of lads. So we were all still there, weren't we?
We were a good group of lads, but we were a handful, wouldn't you? How would you cope managing all us lot? Because we were a handful, weren't we, for the managers?
I
haven't about the same age. You were all out, all out.
I haven't really thought about how I'd manage that because I wouldn't really want to. But in terms of, I still felt though, Sam, even though we were representing Shrewsbury Town, I still think we wore our heart on our sleeve. Really, we give everything for the football club. Would you say? I think I did. And I think you did as well. We might have lacked in quality in certain areas, but. And if we were out in the town or we were out in whatever was going on, we still give it our all on a daily basis in training and in games. But when Jimmy Quinn come in and Cookie and that, I was thinking, okay, how are these going to adapt and what are these going to do to sort of the full time? And he changed a few things, which was sometimes was a bit of an hindrance, but sometimes it worked. And then what he did do is he brought the likes of Darren Tinson's in, Kevin Street, Jake Sedgemore, Colin Cram. Who else did he bring in? He brought
Martin O'Connor.
Well, Martin O'Connor come late. But
you mean people from non-league?
Yeah, from non-league. He brought them with him.
Stu Whitehead, would he come in then?
Ian Fitzpatrick came in.
Ian Fitzpatrick had a decent left foot on him, but in terms of them lads, they weren't technically brilliant footballers. They were just well organised, good organisers, like Tinson. But they were good lads. They bought Greg Rioch ended up coming as well eventually, didn't he?
Dave Riddler.
Ridley, yeah. Well, Rids was already. Oh no.
Rid's come in. No, Rid's come in.
Rid's come in with us. Yeah,
he joined your car school. Didn't he?
He did. Yeah,
did all right though. Despite that.
No, he did, and I think that the lads got us over that line. And to be fair, that year, that league, it weren't great, was it?
Bit of luck as well involved, wasn't there?
Yeah, we had loads of luck, like
good players. And a little bit of luck.
Yeah, well, Luke scored. How many goals did Luke score that year?
So you playing on the right that season more?
But I played up front a little bit when Jimmy didn't bring himself on. I thought.
It's when Jimmy brought himself on instead of you. A bit disappointed, isn't it? Jimmy Quinn's bringing himself off.
And then when I'm scoring at Morecambe away, and he ran over to the fans and he went,
yeah, I remember that.
44.
Remember the right? We couldn't celebrate with him, could you? Like, if he scored, you're like, Greg would sometimes go and celebrate with him. We're like, if the gaffer scores, you don't celebrate with the gaffer at all.
Yeah.
I remember setting him up one time, and he's like, I was about 2 yards away from him. I just jogged back to the halfway, like he's by himself. I'm 44.
And
44.
then the following year, we that was then your full season, wasn't it? And then I moved on then to Chester, and Gary Peters coming.
Go on, what talk us through that then?
Gary Peters.
Did you get sent off training with the kids?
Well, I remember, Lowy, my first day I came in and obviously met all the lads and everyone was having breakfast and stuff. And as we walked out, I saw someone in the distance just like running. And I just remember saying to one of the lads, like, who's that over there? I said, one of the lads, he's on the way out. Like, and it was you. Yeah. Obviously, I didn't realise. When you come over, I said hello to you and you were like, all right. And I was like, you were a bit like that. Okay.
I remember a few of my mates obviously were still in the youth team then. The lads a couple of years younger I got on with. And they said you went and trained with the kids and you was training with your mobile in your pocket. And you said you'd wait for your agent and you'd be in the middle of a five and he was like, hang on a sec.
Yeah. My first day at Shrewsbury was your last day.
Yeah. So I think what happened, Gary Peters obviously had his way and what he wanted to do was get people out. That was fine, no problem. He'd come in. Oh, no, sorry. We had a season in the league first, didn't we, under Jimmy Quinn? And then he'd come in. I left in...
He didn't last the whole season, Jimmy. He came in and he was... done the conference and then he did maybe the first half of the season, but we were in real trouble, weren't we?
Gav, when did you sign?
No, so I came...
January?
I came... It might have just been after that.
just after January.
Yeah.
So
Came in and
when
saved
Gary
the
Peters
club.
come in, I was
Came in
in the round.
kept the club up. That's it for another podcast.
We've heard it before.
He-
Only played 5 games.
I think who did he bring in with him? Gary Peters. What was his name?
Mick
It
Wadsworth.
Wadsworth.
Mick Wadsworth. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I said something insane and like.
That doesn't sound like you.
Something, yeah, like I said something like not a chance, but like with a swear word, and he stopped the whole session. And I always remember it was at Lilleshall, and he went, "No one's ever." I basically said to him, "Fuck off," as if like shit decision sort of thing. He stopped the whole session, embarrassed me, and went, "No one's ever told me that." I went, "Well, I didn't say that to you. I was just saying that as in because it weren't a goal or
Which
whatever."
happens
Yeah, and
every
he went,
training
"Not
session.
even Alan Shearer's done that to me."
He used to love dropping Shearer.
He loves that.
Throwing loads of names in here and
Umbro,
then-
Shearer and Owen.
Yeah,
Literally
so I
every other
thought that.
session.
And then
Brilliant.
Gary pulled me and said, "Look, listen, Chester want they made an approach for you, but I want $5,000 for you." I went, "Well, what's $5,000 going to do for you?" Like, he went, "Well," I said, "I'll leave all my money behind, my time might be up, that's fine, no problem, I'll move on." And in the end, I ended up, so that day of running, I was running around, he wanted me to go with the kids, and I might have been with the kids, but didn't like it. I thought, no, there's no point in me training with the kids, I might as well just stay up here and do some runs, and then it took a few days, and then obviously I was out of there then, Chester I went.
So then, Mossy and Luke weren't there then, did they? You went to Chester, and you had a season at Chester.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
Then
it was about 18
and you
months.
scored a load of goals at Chester.
Yeah.
Then you went to Crewe.
I went to Crewe then, yeah. So it was
Chester-
funny, the Crewe
That
one.
killed Gary
Chester
Peters,
in the
by way.
same league as Shrewsbury at that point when they League Two.
Yeah, League Two, yeah.
Who was the manager?
I don't know, but if you want to get Joe Hart on the phone, I put one right in the top in against him. Game medal and
He'll
just went like
remember
that to him. Remember that, Joe? He ran away. You remember that one, Wits?
He hated
You went
that.
to Chester though, didn't you?
Yeah, because
In League
it was
Two.
mad because Kevin Ratcliffe signed me, Welsh legend, and then Everton captain, and then Ian Rush signed me, who was a Liverpool legend and a Welsh legend, and I was like, wow, so I'd gone from non-league of just watching these teams to Kevin Ratcliffe managing me and giving me the opportunity to then Ian Rush, and I'm like. When I went to Chester, I played a lot of front end, know what I mean? And that was really my time where I
Not as a
sort of...
target man though. Did he play off the target man?
No, not really. No, I just
You
ended up...
weren't like physical, were you?
No, I just get in behind defenders and just,
And behind,
pick runs.
but you weren't fast either.
No, but I was fast over 15, 20 yards. So yeah. So like, I used to
A
play...
lot of those, like with
Have we
you.
got any video evidence of that, Wits? I'm not having Ryan was fast over 50.
This is why Wits hasn't said. I remember a lot of your goals, are obviously coming from crosses, from
Yeah,
wide, like
getting across.
but not really wide. That sort of that slides in there, and then
In
and
between
then,
the sticks, Gav.
and then in around that goal area,
Yeah.
right around a penalty spot. There's a lot of goals from you came there, and
Yeah.
I remember because. Obviously, because it was my first day and your last day, something just sticks in your brain, doesn't it? And then obviously, it's like, you want to buy a car and you see it everywhere. I was like, oh, it's Ryan Lowe. And then I'd see you everywhere. And I remember Gary Peters. I always remember with you and Ben Smith it was, but in your case, he ate every time you scored. He'd be like, Ryan Lowe scored again. Ryan Lowe. And then you see him and he'd be fuming and you'd think, what's the matter with him? I say to Mick Wadsworth, what's the matter with him? He went, Ryan Lowe scored a brace at the weekend. He's fuming. Like, he just had it in his head.
But he's got it wrong though, hasn't he? Because you scored a
Well,
load of
that's
goals.
why he had the ump. That's why he had the ump, yeah.
And he did get it
It's
wrong
funny.
because, but in saying that, was my time up at Shrewsbury
Yeah,
5
maybe,
years?
then maybe,
Possibly, yeah. Because, it's a long time, isn't it? Maybe I needed a fresh start and what got on. What pleased me was I thought I'd done a lot for Shrewsbury. I think I've seen something on social media, not before I come off it a few months ago, 6 months ago or something. Scored one of the most goals, scored a lot of goals for Shrewsbury Town. Over 100 goals, over 50 goals. Is it 50 goals? I think I scored more than, and Sean Wally was tagged in it or something. Anyway, so I think I'd done my bit for Shrewsbury.
I wouldn't have seen that.
And then obviously the time was right to move on. Obviously went to Chester, scored a load of goals, and then it was funny at Chester. Me and Michael Branch were playing up front, and Mark Wright then come in, another Liverpool legend, but me and Wrighty just didn't. Well, not me. Wrighty didn't see eye to eye with Branchy, but I knew I could potentially get away because Walsall were after me and Yeovil were after me at the time. I think they were in League One. So Wright said to me, "You can leave for free." I went, "Oh, can I?" He said, "Yeah." He said,
That's
okay.
a mad decision, isn't it, when you just scored a load of goals for them? Leave
Look,
for free.
again, managers, they get it wrong. He told me he got it wrong as well, and managers do get it wrong. I'll go on to Steve Holland in a bit. He got it wrong and apologised to me years down the line, but I'll get it wrong as a manager. There's no harm in that, as long as you put your hands up and go, look, I got it wrong. But when I went to Chester, I had a good 18 months, I think it was, and then Mark Wright Ian Rush got sacked, then he brought Keith Curl in, then he got sacked, then he brought Mark Wright in. And straight away, he just wanted his own players, which was fine. And I remember speaking to Luke, and went, Luke, I'm going to terminate my contract.
Luke Rogers was at
Luke Rogers
was at Crewe.
and Mossy were at-
Darren Moss was at Crewe
at
because
Crewe.
Dario had signed both them from us, hadn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Get the band back together.
Get the lads back together. How come I didn't get a call and get involved
So
in
Luke
that?
went to me. He said, "Wait there a minute." He said, "Let me go and ask Dario. Can you come in here on trial?" You know what Luke was like? He was
He'd just go and ask, wouldn't he?
straight to it. So he phoned me back and went, "Right, Dario said come in here tomorrow." I went, "What?" He said, "Just come in tomorrow." But obviously they'd known about me because I was scoring goals.
Yeah.
So anyway, I ended up going in there and I was there for a month. It was in March time it was, and I was there for a month on trial. Bear in mind, Alfie was born in April, so I went March and then he was born the 20th of April. So I had a week off or something then. I must have done 3 weeks with them, but he went to me, "So what are you doing over your monies?" This when I first went in. He went, "How much was you on?" I went, £1,000 a week, I think I was on at Chester. He went, "I'll pay you £900 a week while you're on trial." I went, "Huh?"
While you're on trial?
While I was on trial, pay me £900
Brilliant,
a
that
week.
is.
Excellent.
Fair play.
And then obviously after 3 weeks, he offered me a contract. But I signed for Chester. I signed for Crewe when they were in the Championship. And I was thinking, oh my God, I hope these stay up. Anyway, they were more or less done. But
Yeah.
I was watching games. I remember watching them against Cardiff. And I was thinking, oh, Championship. Luke was playing, Mossy was playing. But yeah, as I say, I went from Shrewsbury to Chester and then to Crewe. But all in different circumstances, you know.
What was Dario like then?
Do you know what? He was a football man, weren't he? And I must say, when I went to Crewe, I become a better footballer. It was the first real time you sit in a room, all the players, projectors on, boom, green lasers on.
First time you've been coached.
First time I've been coached. First time I've been the little drag backs and whatever else. And he had this little drop the shoulder. And I remember doing free kicks with him once. And everyone was trying to do the Ronaldo run. Remember when he started bringing it out, he went to me, "Ryan, stop there." I went, "What's up?" He went, "You're not going to develop that now. You're too old." I went, "All right, no problem." He said, "Get yourself in."
Work on the things you can improve. Don't bother doing the duck ball.
He said to me, ended up playing right wing for them then, because John Asembo played right back, played the 4-4-2. Nicky Maynard and Barney were up front, and he said to me, "Look, you just cross the ball to them all the time, every time you can, and you'll play every week." So I just done what he asked me to do. But I come technically better and more football visions better, because I knew watching the games and I'd sit there and he'd go, "Right, let's go through these clips," and he'd go, "Can you do that better? Can you see it?" And it made you open the game up. You know, you're not just watching your own performance, you're watching where runs are going and what they're
Analysis is a great tool. I mean, it can kill you, but
in
if you use it right, it's a great tool, isn't it?
Well, there's different ways, and you can visually see it. You can coach it outside. There's loads of different ways. You know, we have coach paint now where the players can drag themselves around and you can still it and everything. It's amazing, but definitely made me a better player going there, because in terms of what I was, you know, I then become more technical.
How long was you at Crewe for then? So you signed
So I had,
properly the following
so I had
season
12
in League
months.
One.
I had 12 months there. That year I scored 13 goals. Well, I was on 13 goals and he offered me a new contract. And I was trying to get 15. So he'd give me more money. So I always remember saying to him, "Okay, Daddy, I'll come back to you." And after a week or something, I never come back to him, and he went to me, "You haven't come and seen me, but we had another game Saturday." And I was going to wait till Saturday. Daddy went, "Why?" I went, "Because I was going to ask for a bit more money." He went, "What do you want?" I went, "I want this." He went, "Right, go down the ground and sign it." I went, "Shit, why did I ask for a bit more?"
It's $4,000 there.
They were straight down. Honestly, he was excellent. And then, you know, went down the ground, signed a new contract. And then Steve Holland come in, said he wanted to bring all the kids through. He was going to develop all the kids, make the club some money. I said, "Yeah, no problem." He said, "Look, I don't see it in my plans." I said, "Fine, no problem." Went back to Chester and scored 20 goals. And I was at Michael Igden's wedding. I went over to him, made the point of going to speak to him, said, "Hiya, Steve, you okay?" He went, "Oh, hiya, Ryan." He was with his missus, and his missus went, "Is this another one you let go?" And she sort of went like that on his face, like sort of. Yeah. And he went, "I know." He said, "Look, apologies, I got it wrong." I went, "No problem. Look, you're man enough to."
That's what you say.
We've had it before.
If you're going to be accountable for it, it's fine, isn't it?
Definitely. But no, mate, I think the Crewe journey was fantastic, and obviously ended up going back further down the line. But I think going to Shrewsbury, learning everything I need to learn there, and becoming an established, you know, Football League player, and then Chester and then Crewe.
It was different at Crewe, with Mossy and Zach, because Dario wouldn't let you get away with the same stuff. Because I remember playing against you, for, I think it was Northampton or Tranmere or something, and I seen like it was you, Mossy, and you were all laughing at me, going, "Oh, like when you out?" And I was like, "Oh, I've got a night out planned." It was John Gorman was my manager, and John Gorman was like, "Sam can go out when he wants." And then Dario come out. I was chatting, you know, went, Dario, the lad's been. And you all going, "No, Sam, honestly, that's not banter with Dario. Like Dario doesn't do all that banter." And I went, "You've just hammered me in front of my gaffer. I was going to have a chat with Dario." And "No, Sam, you can't speak to Dario like that."
I'll tell you when that was. That was the first game of the season.
Yeah,
and we're in the tunnel, and you were saying to me, "Oh, are you all right? Going to play league? Can you play League One, Ryan? Can you play League One?" I said, "I'll show you in a minute." And I scored a volley from 30 yards out, and I went in the top bin.
You told me Ostemabo was going to smash me up, and I absolutely went through him after about 5 minutes. He was lying on the floor, Ostemabo, lying on the floor, and I went past to Luke, and I went, "Is that your mate who was going to smash me up there?" He was lying there getting treatment.
You don't say that, Lowe, You've killed him.
But even that, you know, like the stuff, you know, coming up against your mates and whatever else, and the banter you had with them, and you know, it's brilliant, isn't it? Look, I think it still happens a little bit now, but not as much. You know what I mean? But years ago, it was excellent when you're playing against your mates.
Yeah, quality. So, Burscough, Shrewsbury, Chester, Crewe. What other clubs? Obviously, out of all the other clubs you played for, what was the most enjoyable?
Chef Wed's got to be a big one, though, hasn't it? Being a Chef Wed.
So I'll talk you through Chester. So after Chester, I went to Bury. So Chester got relegated. To be fair, Mark Wright done me a right deal. You know, Alan Nell had phoned up from Bury. I was actually in the office. So Mark Wright then come back, and we got on like a house on fire. Excellent, the two of us. We had a great relationship, and asking over players and whatnot. And then he said, "Look, you don't want to stay in the conference." I went, "No." I played in there. I didn't really play well, and I didn't really play as many games in the conference when we were at Shrewsbury, but I thought I need to stay in the league. So anyway, my Bury had been on. He said, "What? How much you want me to say I'm on?" I said, "Just say I'm on this." He went, "Oh, all right, a bit much though. We might not pay that." I went, "Just say it, and he might give me it." Anyway, Alan Neil, I went and met him and Chris Brass. Ended up signing there for 2 years. First year weren't great. Second year was fantastic. I think that second year, I think I scored 28 goals. I got League 2 Player of the Year, and we ended up getting promoted. Scored the winning goal at Chesterfield away. So my time at Bury was, for the first year and the second year, to get that promotion, which I hadn't had since Shrewsbury, but that was out the league, from League 2 to League 1, where people say, you know, League 1's a big league. And then I remember going to ask the chairman at the time for an £100 pay rise, and he said no. He said, "I need to see how you cope in League 1. I went, "Okay, no problem. See how I cope in League 1. He went, "Yeah." So by this time, Richie Barker had took the job because Alan Hill and Chris Blass had left to go to Scunthorpe. We helped Barks get the job. I think we played the first 7 games in League 1, and I scored 7 in 7. So there was
Get a knock on the door.
He come and said to me, "We'll give you a new contract."
100 quid changed.
"Nah, it's all right." He went, "What?" I said, "No, it's fine." He went, "Well," he said, "if you score," I said, "Yeah, but I knew I'd score goals." You know what I mean? I said,
Totally,
"So
I'd score
goals.
yeah,
Back me, yeah.
you know, you didn't want to do it, and now you want to do it." I said, "Look, it's not going to happen." Stockport made a crazy bid for me and Jamie Vardy at the time, all them years ago, when Didier Mann was the manager. And I thought, where's that come from? Next thing, gets a phone call off an agent. He went, "Look, listen, I've got you to move. Sheffield Wednesday." I went, "Really?" He went, "Yeah." So I went into Richie Barker, who was a mad Sheffield Wednesday fan. He went, "Ryan Lowe." He was trying to send me away. It was international. Or was it not? We're international. It was like a week where we didn't play for a week. And he said, "Go to Portugal with your missus and the kids." I went, "Nah, I'm staying here." He went, "No, go on." So the transfer deadline was in on the Thursday. So he'd give me Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday off.
He's trying to get you out of the way?
Yeah, he was trying to get me out of the way. He didn't want me around. So I took the time off. And then on the Monday, I knew the lads had finished about 12:30, 1:15. Drove up to the training ground, up to the ground, Bury. Went and seen Rich. Went, "Look, there's going to be a bid in for me in the next 20 minutes. He went, "Really? Who off?" And I went, "Sheffield Wednesday." He went, "I told you I couldn't stand in your way." So Sheffield Wednesday bid like 150 grand for me. And then I drove from Bury right across to Sheffield Wednesday. What was pleasing about that was Sheffield Wednesday for me, the Steel Derby, the Glasgow Derby, and the Liverpool Derby. That's what I was brought up with, because they were the 3 main derbies. You're going to say Sunderland, Newcastle.
But that was my. Are we going to have to cut that bit?
That was my. They were my derbies. You know what I mean? Yeah, I hadn't ventured down there that far, but when I was a kid. But in terms of them derbies, were the ones.
So it was it was the Steel Derby.
Steel Derby, Sheffield Wednesday, Sheffield United, Glasgow Rangers, Glasgow Celtic, and Liverpool and Everton. So they were the ones that for me. So I went, "Yeah, Sheffield Wednesday, no problem." Got there, walks into the manager's office with the agent, and Gary Mixon goes, "You just wait there," and shuts the door on him. I sat down. He goes to me, "How long have you been with him?" "Not long." Like, he went, "Yeah, I don't like him." I went, "Oh no, he's going to cock on the deal." He said, "Another thing, you fucking scored 2 against me for Nottingham Forest in the FA Cup, and you got me sacked." He said, "So why am I signing you?" And I went, "Oh God." But to be fair, he was brilliant.
How did you find him?
He was brilliant. Yeah, he was. Listen, he was. Mate, you'd either love him or you hate him. He was one of them fellas. But for me, he was dead honest. I remember going to see him, and he said, "Oh, you see me after that? I'm not good at all this." I went and seen him after. "What have I told you? You know, I'm not good at it." I went, "Gaffer, I just want to know we're going to get a chance." He went, "You're playing next week against Lincoln." He said, "Because they've got big centre halves, and you can get down the sides of them." He said, "But you're not playing this weekend, but you're playing the following week." And to be fair, everything he said, he stood up for. And I played the following week. You know what I mean? Whether the lads had scored beforehand or not. So he was top drawer. But to go from 2 promotions from League 2 to League 1, and then League 1 to the Championship within just over a year was amazing. Brilliant,
And then after Sheff, where?
2 seasons, sorry, yeah.
2 seasons, and then Bury.
And then, funny this. So Dave Jones come in and helped us get promoted. So Megson got sacked with about 6 games to go. And Sheffield United hit a little bit of a bump in the road and lost a couple of games. And we overtook them on the last game of the season. A couple of days later, he gets us all in for meetings, Dave Jones. So we're in the training ground. Lads who were out of contact when they had meetings, the lads who were in contact was just see you pre-season. So I thought, right, I'm going to go and see him. Now we were getting on a bus to Marbella, taking us to the Nottingham airport. So I said, lad, just wait. So I ran off the bus, ran into the manager's office. I said, Gaffer, I just want to know, am I going to get an opportunity next season? He said, get on that bus, you're going to Marbella. I went, no, I need to know. Am I going to get an opportunity to play in the Championship next year?
Did you like that? Would you like your players doing that for you now?
Yeah.
Proper, like, pushing.
But I wouldn't tell him no lies. So he went, yeah, of course you're our son. Yeah, you know, you're one of us. And I went, brilliant. Went to Marbella, the best time of my life. Come home, got fit, trained every day. Come back at 33 at the time, and I was probably one of the fittest lads there. And there was few fit lads there, you know, lads who played in the Premiership and stuff. David Prutton was a machine; he could just run all day. I thought I'm going to give it the best chance here. I was in Portugal on pre-season camp where we never done anything. Carl Robertson rings me and goes, "Don't go to Doncaster." I went, "What?" He went, "Trying to sell you to Doncaster for 50 grand." I went, "You joking?" He went, "No." So when I seen the manager, he went, "You can leave." I said, "Oh, why?" He said, "He give me a chance." He went, "I'm bringing a lad called Rodri in from Barcelona to Sheffield Wednesday." I went, "Oh."
Fair enough.
Come from Bersco, you know what I mean? Of course, he's going to get rid of me. So I thought, okay, fair enough, signed. And I ended up signing for MK Dons. But I signed 2 years at MK Dons under Carl, and I only had 12 months there. I couldn't handle it. Carl was great coach, great manager. Scored 14 goals, joint leading goal scorer. But it was just too far. I was getting a train most days to Milton Keynes, and I thought, you know what, just get me back home. And to be fair,
getting it with Darren Potter, was he there then?
Yeah, me, Potts, Semi, and Anthony Kay. Yeah, but it was hard work.
Casey,
yeah.
I'm a Casey now.
It's a family thing again. That people doing this. What people don't see is it's like life. You know, it's like you being at Reading and that.
Yeah,
isn't it? It's them things.
You know, we're missing the kids. We're getting on trains on Friday to stay in hotels. Then with
family life,
sleeps and back. It just weren't any good. And no, what done me though as well. And some people, you know, you're not serious about this. Carl had delayed training for us sometimes because I was playing up front. Semi was playing right back. Casey was playing centre half. And Potty was a midfield maestro. Do you know what I mean? He was excellent. And he delayed training until we got back. So if the train got delayed for half an hour, the lads would all be sitting in the change waiting for us to come. You're like, oh, you'd walk in, they go, oh, where the are is the scouts? You go, oh, fuck it now. And I didn't like it, you know what I mean? Because it was all waiting on us. Where Carl was fair, but it was one of them things where you just, you know, I didn't want to be waited on, and in the end I thought, you know, I'd get a chance to go and play for Tranmere and end up going there.
Tranmere. And then Bury were a bit of a legend, weren't you? Scored 9 goals. Was it 9 goals in 9 games? Record?
9 goals in 9 consecutive games, yeah. And then he started linking me to the likes of Pele and Ronaldo, and I thought, fucking hell, I need to swerve this.
So you had a long career, Lowe.
Yeah.
And looking from the outside in, you got better as you got older.
Yeah.
And we touched before on what your main attributes are and what kind of strike you were. I always remember you as someone who had technically very good, neat and tidy, but you scored your goals just with your movement, little runs. Yeah. So it's not like a long ball over the top you're going to chase. It's in and around the box. You've either got it, set someone, another run, and you're in. And do you think because you never relied on your pace or your physicality or anything like that, that gave you that longevity? It was more down towards your brain and your touch, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, but it developed the brain as well, Dave. So as you said there, I weren't fast, I weren't strong. You know, I was skinny as hell when I was playing. But I did have a little dart, although Sam doesn't, you know, because I worked on my quads and my thighs and my legs really loads, because I thought, I don't really want to be big. I didn't really want to be as...
It was always that quick, clever play just in and around. That was always your goals, wasn't it? And the pullbacks. And
so you know what I always used to do, right? I'd put, like, for argument's sake, Sam, I'd put him down the line a little bit wide, a little bit so the ball's further, knowing that if I pass that ball 10 yards there and I spin off the back of you, by the time he crossed it, I'm up the other side of you and I'm getting a tap in. Yeah. Because I'm going to leave him long rather than short. I'll leave him short and he crosses the first time, I won't be there. So I used to start thinking about how I could get goals that way. And little 1-2s around people, and would me mate give me a back, and I played with Luke, who's obviously one of my best mates, and we used to, he was a lot greedier than me, like. But everyone who I played with, I sort of had relationships with, and yeah, you're right. I didn't rely on any pace. It was cleverness, but how I got clever was the likes of the crew. You know what I mean? When you learn, you're watching, and then you start watching games. And otherwise, you know, I might not have had the career I had if I didn't learn. But as I said before, it's that resilience and that character in yourself. To how can I be better? How can I have one step ahead of you? I'd get in a fight with anyone on a pitch. I'd probably lose 9 times out of 10. You know, big fellas coming over the back of you. But I used to try and be bright and clever. I remember a lad who played for Sheffield United said to me, he was asking Harry Maguire about me, and Harry Maguire said I was a nightmare to play against. You know what I mean? And that for me was good, even though he's had his rough patches as we speak at the moment, playing for Man United. But he's a top centre half, isn't he, Harry Maguire? And when someone like that ilk says, yeah, he's a nuisance to play against, that was a feel good factor for me.
What was your favourite sort of formation to play in? Would it be a 4-4-2 up alongside someone?
Yeah, alongside the partner. Yeah. So I played at MK Dons 4-2-3-1, and Carl used to say to me, don't get involved until the 18-yard box when we're attacking.
And you were the one up front?
Yeah, and I couldn't do it. It weren't me. I was dropping in, I was trying to link up, and it just weren't me. I was trying to make runs. You know, I need to play with someone, have a relationship with someone who could play a 1-2 with you, or a little flick on for your mates, or a little pullbacks, or whatever it was. That's what I relied on. And when I didn't have that, I was no good. So anything in a 2 was perfect for me.
This day and age, that's quite limited, because obviously 3 at the back, you can have 2 up front, can't you? And then you've got the 4-4-2, but there's a lot at the moment playing a front 3, isn't there? So where would you see yourself in that front 3?
I couldn't play in a front 3. Unless I played left side, coming in on my right foot and getting some shots away, or on the right side, crossing it. I never liked being up front on my own, because you're up against 2 centre-halves, aren't you? And most of the centre-halves nowadays are big and strong guys. If there's 2 years up against a 3 or a 2, then it's man be man, but little link-ups around, you know. So as a 1, I couldn't really play as a 1.
Did you ever play as a link man, as a number 10? So you got your big striker up front, and you just get to float in and around?
Yeah, they tried me in that at MK Dons. Carl tried loads of different things to make it work, because he obviously had to say... He had to show why he'd paid £50,000 for me, and listen, I still done well for him. We ended up just missing out on the playoffs and scored 14 goals. But the fact of the matter, I was a striker with a partnership or a right winger. Yeah.
I'm still a big believer now in 2 central strikers. I like in teams. I've obviously being a centre half, I used to think to myself, say to my centre half partner, got one to deal with here. Let's beat him up. Yeah. Let's get right.
You could always cover each other, couldn't you?
I tell you what I remember though, Ryan, about you, which is like being quite innovative. And I remember having the parachute, like when we were starting and we were all like lads messing about. I remember you buying a parachute yourself and putting a parachute on your back and doing them sprints and that.
But that went down well with the lads.
I was going to say,
like straight away I was on it trying to cut the parachute and everything. But I remember Ryan trying to do these things as well. And you look back now and think,
finding those edges, those 1%.
Because I think Ryan would never be a manager. When you look back at that and go, yeah, but he was constantly trying to improve and looking at ways to make himself a little bit better, that 1% all the time.
The parachutes, I remember when I was going back to when I was going there on sale, I trained proper dead hard, and as I said, my dad and my granddad had a gym in town. I was in there all the time. I was trying to get myself in pristine condition because I didn't want it to fail going to Shrewsbury. And always Foggy said to me, just come back, just come in, show that you're fit and you're a good lad and you'll be fine. And that parachute, I was using it all the time, and I wanted to bring it into saying, like, what the fuck's that?
I used to play with one of them, but it was invisible. I used to say to every manager, but it's this invisible parachute. I can't do anything about it.
I tried everything. Anything that could give me a little edge, I tried everything.
Yeah, that was good though. Then you ended up becoming a manager, but I mean, that to me at the time, if you said to me 20 years ago, Ryan Lowe would manage the Championship, I would have gone no way. I'd have picked 100 people before you.
So how did that come about? Yeah, the circumstances of that.
So you were at Bury.
I was at Bury. I was playing. I was speaking to Gav before off air, and I was just talking about clubs and people interested. And look, if you do your work properly, coaches coming through, managers, CEOs, sporting directors, they know about players finishing, how good of a coach he is. Is he going to be a coach? Is he going to be a manager? And I was sort of on that little bit of a radar of people saying, he'd be a good striker coach, he'd be this. I didn't want to just be a good striker coach. I wanted to be a good coach and eventually be a manager. And I had a 5-year plan. So when I finished that, when I was 39 at Bury under Lee Clark the following year, Lee Clark come in towards the end of the season, and he said to me, what do you want to do next year? I said, I just want a bit more authority. It's going to take like a 23s or development game. So I was called a player development coach. So I'd still train some days, but I'd also coach some days. So lads who were in the bomb squad, I'd take on a Tuesday afternoon or a Tuesday morning or a Saturday morning or take warm-ups and that. So I was sort of getting my foot in, and Lee Clark was giving me that opportunity to do it. And then obviously he lost his job, and the chairman come to me and went, look, I just want you to get the lads on side, and I was like the go-to for the lads. You know what I mean?
Was that in the back of your mind though, doing that, knowing that you can position yourself in a place that when it does go wrong,
You mean did he stab him in the back?
No, Dave, I didn't have a clue really, mate. Honestly, I didn't have a clue what I was doing, so I was nowhere near. I had a 5-year plan, and I got approached from a team who ended up getting in the league, but were in non-league, and they asked me to go in as a coach for them, and I said no, because I wanted to stay in the full-time ranks. And I had a 5-year plan. By that time, I'd only just done me B licence, I think. So it's A licence, B licence, pro licence. And I thought, I want to learn. And I had these plans and visions. Like Lee Clark used to say to me, you're coming to Newcastle with me, son, when I get that job. And I was like, oh, brilliant, Newcastle, yeah, go there as a coach. That didn't work out for Lee at Bury. And then when he gave me the job, I took 6 games, I won 2, drawn 2, lost 2. And then we're going to Stephen Schumacher's house over the Christmas. He had a party at Christmas, and he just gave the job to Chris Laketti. And Shuey went to me, why didn't you take the job? I went, I weren't ready for that job, mate. I couldn't sleep. For them 6 games, I was like, didn't know what to do. I was trying all different formations. Tony Mowbray said to me one day, look, son, he said, I'm not telling you what to do. He said, but just go 4-4-2 or 4-5-1. Be nice and solid and hard to beat. And funny enough, we beat Shrewsbury 1-0 when they were flying high. They were top of the league all season. My first win, I think, come against Shrewsbury at Bury. We beat them 1-0. Grimsby's
up all now.
Yeah. So yeah, and then obviously the chairman phoned me the next day after that. Was a Tuesday night, and went, look, I'm going to give the job to Chris Laketti. I went, right, fine, no problem. He said, but he wants you to stay on and help out. I went, right, don't even want it, you know what I mean? So Chris come in, I helped him out. Then he brought Joe Parkinson in with him. Won't go on too much about that, but that didn't work out for them, you know what I mean? I was ready to throw me out in the ring. I was like, I'm sick of this, you know what I mean? I was sort of trying to help with what to do, and then in the end I stayed on, and he lost his job, and then the chairman said to me, look, I'll let you bring someone in. So I phoned Shuey, he was coaching the under-12s at Everton, said, come in. Ryan Kidd helped us out till the end of the season. The club ended up getting relegated.
Ryan Kidd?
Ryan Kidd, he had a great team at Bury with all the kids.
Brian Kidd's
Brian Kidd's son Ryan.
Brian Kidd, Ryan, yeah.
And he said, just want to see a different style and, you know, get the fans on side and that again. I said, yeah, no problem. We won quite a few games, but it still went down. And then after the season had finished, he said, look, before it finished, actually, I'm going to give you 2 years. I went, right, perfect. Let me get a team together that can get us out of the league. And I went and got good lads, solid lads, Nicky Adams type lads. Nicky Maynard ended up signing for us. I'll tell you what, that beer's giving me proper hiccups.
I was going to say, do you want an Alka-Seltzer? Right?
So got a load of good lads in, all decent enough. Cut the wage bill down, got rid of the lads who were on good money but weren't going to play, and got that bit of unity together. But after 5 months, we didn't get paid. So we got paid for the first 4 or 5 months, and then how we got them over the line, God only knows.
So you got promoted, but it was already going pear-shaped.
Yeah, well, we hadn't been paid for, I think from January onwards, we didn't get paid.
And you still got promoted that season.
I've got to say, that is an extraordinary achievement. Yeah. I mean, watching it from afar, and obviously knowing you through Sam, and I'm watching it all go on. It's got to be probably your biggest task, but most unbelievable achievement, surely.
When we got promoted the Tuesday night away at Samia, I went home and just burst out crying, because I was like, the relief of it. I even to this day, I still really didn't know what I was doing as a manager. I'd been through in at the deep end. I was learning on the job. I was ringing managers, ringing people.
Which is the best way, isn't it?
The best way, yeah. And I was going, how do you do this? What do you do here? The lads managed themselves. I had a great relationship with them all. They were all still my mates from when I was playing with them. Lads who were brought in were my mates. A great unity together. And I said, lads, look, you might not get paid here, but what they can't take away from you is a promotion. And every single one of them players went and got a better job after when Bury went under. And everyone moved on. I think it was one player who never really got a job as a footballer, but went and done something else. So they all benefited from it. And which I was saying to them, look, I've got a picture with all the kids on the pitch with the medals around the necks, and that's one thing I said to them, look, don't let anyone take this away from you. If you can get a picture at the end of the season with a medal on your kids' necks, then job done, and you'll go and have a fantastic career. And they all did, to be fair. But it was hard. It was tough to take. You know, some days you didn't know whether you're getting paid, what was happening. Was the club going under? Was you getting point deduction? And in the end, I just said to the boys at the end, look, before it, like 10 games to go, I said, look, if you do not want to play, come and knock on my door and I won't play you. If it's affecting you. However they got through it their own ways. And
that's got to be credit to you, Lowe, because obviously listen, you know, when you're a footballer, ultimately, whether you like to say it or not, the income plays a massive part because you have to look after your family, and that's what you're there for, it's your job. But ultimately, them lads have had that taken away. You have had to create a culture. You've had to create a changing room, a reason for them to be there, to hang out for it. That for me, that's an extraordinary thing.
Incredible achievement.
Yeah,
incredible.
Do you know what, mate? It was, and that was all the start. Like me and Shuey, we had Rob Kelly with us first, and he left to go to. I think he's seen it coming, Rob. He left and went to Sweden with Uwe Rosler, and then I was tempted to bring another coach in, and me and Shuey just done it. And what we did was we asked Ryan Kidd to help us along the way, and then he was helping us quite a bit. But yeah, it's one of them, isn't it? Look, I was a bit fortunate than some others, and lads are knocking on my door saying, "Gaffer, I've got no money for nappies for the kids," and that. And I'm like, wow, when I'm lending money out my own pocket, and look, it's one of them things that should never ever happen in football. And I hope it never happens again, because Bury obviously, they've just got the ground back now, but Bury FC are no longer existing. So
horrendous.
It was tough times, mate. But there's a saying in life, isn't it? Tough times don't last, tough people do, and I think I was one of them tough people.
And just sorry, go on, Dave.
I say, in terms of what was happening at Bury, how involved were you in the politics of it, or were you literally just involved with the players, or were you having to have conversations all the time?
Yeah, I was having.
Did it consume your life completely?
Yeah, it was horrendous, Dave. It was horrendous. The discussions and that what were going on was just total. I don't like to give anyone any sort of. I'd rather not talk about the people involved, really, because I don't want to give them any airtime, if you know what I mean. I wouldn't go and buy a car if I couldn't afford it. I wouldn't go and buy an house if I couldn't afford it. And what they done is they bought a football club for a penny and a pound or whatever, but couldn't afford it. And it was horrendous. The talks that were going on and people lying to you on a daily basis was horrendous. And I've always chose that I'll never lie to any of my players or any of my staff, because I haven't got a good memory, so I'd fail at it and I'd get caught out. So what was happening at the time, they were lying to us through the teeth every single day, and then I couldn't even give the lads any messages to say, look, this is what they're saying. In the end, I had to say, go and see them yourself. People would turn up one day, not the next day. You wouldn't see someone for 3 weeks. You wouldn't see someone for a month. So it was tough. And in the end, I think the closer the season was coming to a draw, and they knew that we were on the verge of getting promoted, they just went, you know what, let's just get promoted and we'll deal with the rest of it after.
With the lads not being paid, were they allowed to move on if they needed to? Or was it, So did you have any players leave, or any key players?
Well, I left as well, didn't I? So
you got a bit of criticism for that off from fans then?
Yeah, but not only because in the end, when they knew what happened, a lot of people saying, I've jumped a sinking ship. A lot of people jumped a sinking ship before I did. Let me tell you, people who were in the club. But what I had to do then was, where was my next income coming from? To be fair to the PFA, they made sure all the players got the monies, and then they dealt with it further on. So credit where credit's due to them. And then Plymouth actually come and paid. I think they probably come and paid nearly 150 grand for me and 50 grand for Shuey. So there was 200 grand straight away.
Yeah.
But now, I don't know where that went. And then I brought 3 staff members with me from Bury who were free to go, and I brought 4 players who were free to go, and I actually gave Bury 100 grand for Dom Telford. So that was 300 grand that they got for me, Shuey and Dom. But I don't know where that went.
I was going to say, that should be tied in something over, shouldn't it?
Well, it should have.
Because I actually was, just to shout out, obviously, Shuey, brilliant for you.
Brilliant.
I was on the A licence with him at the time when you'd gone to Plymouth. Yeah. And I just to see him there, like absolute class actors, like you'll say better than me, but got on really well with him during the course of the week. There was a cluster of us that all got on, sort of gravitated towards each other, and me and Shuey were part of that. And I visibly, we sat on the same table, and I think like he was probably 2 away from me, and I saw him on his phone, and he literally, as he looked at his phone like that, obviously as the presentation was going on, and literally I just saw his shoulders just go, like almost like the weight of the world. And I saw him, and he looked round, and I thought, something's gone on there. And as he came out, he was like, don't say anything, but we've just got the call here.
Yeah.
I think Ryan's taken us to Plymouth.
So
and he was, the relief on him was like, you could visibly see it in him.
Yeah, because what happened was me and Shuey, our missus were working, and when we got told we were getting a full-time job at Bury, as you know, with the kids and that, look, pack your jobs in, we'll be all right, we've got the job now. We need you to look after the family and the kids so we can do our work. And we done that the first year, but then obviously when we knew we weren't getting paid again, well, where was the call coming from? The first call was Plymouth Argyle. And when we went down and met them and I presented them, and Shuey come in with me, and he looked after the computer, and we were presenting, I was talking through everything, met all the directors. Within half an hour, we got to the station, got the phone call to say the job was yours if you want it. But with Shuey's family, his kids were, I think Claudia's 9 and Vincent's 6, so what 3 years ago nearly, they were 2 and 5 or something like that, or 2 and 6, so they were a lot young, 3 and 6, so they were a lot younger than mine. And mine were in school, seniors, and it was tougher for me. So we went down with the girls and we stayed over and all that, and the chairman took us out for food, and I'm like, oh yeah, great, this is a big club, we can get these fans back in and get this place bouncing. I had a mate of mine down there who lived there. He said, oh, you love it, the Green Army, they're great, and listen, they done everything that was expected of them. They were fantastic with me and while I was there, and for the football team. But to make that jump to Plymouth Argyle, I just didn't go just to be getting paid. I went because the chairman sold me the vision of the football club and where we could get them and where they could go. I thought, okay, he had a plan, he has a vision, and the chairman, money was coming from his pocket, no one else's, and I knew he had the money, and he told me where he got it from, and when he come through the Plymouth College and went over to America and was a business, investment banker and stuff, I thought, yeah, he'll do for me, and he was spot on. And next thing you know, mate, we were there, we went to Plymouth. Chewy brought his family. I went out without mine for 2.5 years, which was tough. But as I said, mate, if I wouldn't have done it, I wouldn't be managing in the Championship now.
And you had that place bouncing, didn't you? Obviously, I come down a few times.
Yeah.
It was amazing, the atmosphere, wasn't it? It's a massive club, that is, isn't it? It's
great
brilliant. Great catchment.
Do you know what? When I went down there, the chairman actually asked me, right, he went, what do you think of Plymouth Argyle? I thought, this could either get me sacked or this could, go down well. I went, I just think it's a big club with no ambition. And he went, 100% agree with you. So
just as well, then,
for him to agree with it, I was already in the job. I think I was already in the job. I'd already said, yeah, I'd take the job and that. And he was like, you're right, but we want to have the ambition. And I must say, look, I know we'll probably get onto it in a minute. Our left weren't great. It probably could have been done better, handled by the club and myself better. But what I did do is I went down there, sacrificed my family for 2.5 years to get them back into League One, definitely, and to just miss out this season in the playoffs, which 80 points should at least get you in. Averages over the past 4 or 5 years have been 74 points, and they got 80 and never got in. So yeah, it was a big decision, but it was the right one.
So go on. Obviously, you had that place bouncing, brilliant, flying, top of the league, weren't you? And then suddenly, out of nowhere, Holly says to me, "I've just spoke to Jade. Ryan's going to Preston." Then social media. I looked on Twitter. Social media is a lie. You're getting slagged by all the Plymouth fans. Yeah. Go on, talk me through how that came about.
Do you know what, mate? We played Rochdale, so we lost 3 games in a week, and we played Rochdale and beat them in the FA Cup 2-1. And I got a phone call off my agent to say, but by this time I'd been linked with loads of jobs, and I said to my agent, I don't want to know anything about any jobs, because unless someone phones you and says the job's Ryan's, because
too much for distraction.
Yeah, and I was at a fantastic club. I was on the verge of potentially, hopefully, getting them to the Championship. That was our plan. The chairman had a vision, a 5-year plan to get to the Championship, and they nearly done it in 3 years, but listen, they will eventually get there, hopefully. So I get a phone call off my agent. He went, right, Preston North End, they're going to make an approach tomorrow for you. I went, okay, fine, we'll let them do it. And then really that's what happened. So I waited for all that to happen before I'd done anything. And then I spoke to the CEO and he said, we've had a call off Preston North End. Would you like to speak to them? I said, okay, can I call you back in 5 minutes? Let me just get me bearings and whatnot. I think I was just coming from the Asda or somewhere doing a bit of shopping, and I just dropped the kids off. Actually, I was on the school run on the Monday morning because our Plymouth lads were off. We'd played on a Sunday, and then it just happened so fast that when a club like Preston North End with the history and tradition comes along crawling for you in a Championship club, and it's 29 miles from your door, and they've got a plan and a vision to try and get to the Premier League, how would you say no? Yeah, look, it was hard to leave a fantastic club behind in Plymouth Argyle, what I've built there so far. But at some point, I was always going to move on. And the time come when it was just too big of an opportunity to turn down that you can't say no.
And like Sam says there, you come in for a bit of criticism, didn't you? And obviously everyone around this table, it absolutely baffles us that in this industry, you can be suited by obviously like a bigger company, a bigger corporation, a bigger organisation. And then, and like you say there, you speak so highly of Plymouth and the opportunities that they gave you and what a brilliant club. And you're sure now, like obviously with Shuey being at the leadership, like they'll go on and do brilliant things. And you clearly genuinely want that.
You started all that.
Yeah, and you genuinely want that to continue, even if it's without you. And I think we are baffled sometimes within football that you can be so criticised when all you want to do really is a couple of things. It's progression for you from a career perspective, with no sort of ill feeling towards your previous employer, but equally you've got a family to look after. And it's like if you've said it a number of times, Sam, if you're a plumber,
someone offers you more money.
Someone offers you more money. You go in.
Yeah. Joe Edwards, your captain, come out, didn't he? And they interviewed him, didn't they, Joe? And they were looking for obviously a bit of a story, weren't they? And he just come out and said you were top class, didn't he?
Yeah. So what happened was, listen, social media is brutal, and I'm off it now. I've been off it since that time.
Yeah, if any Plymouth fans want to get in contact, it's at Gav Cowan if they want.
Don't go there. But social media, that's nonsense.
A lot of the Plymouth fans know. I think the diehards really know. The younger generation who probably loved and adored me because I'd gone down there, and as you say, we got it bounced. Not just me, but Shuey as well, and me staff, and Neil
I got
Juice,
a bounce on a couple of Saturdays.
all the staff who were there, even behind the scenes, they're all fantastic blokes. Still speak to them now. And the club is on the up, and the fans, and I had a lot of friends down there. The real people really know that at some point there's two ways that they'll dislike you, the fans. Is one, you're being rubbish and they want you out and you're being sacked, or two, you leave for a better club in a different division. They hate you as well. So I think deep down a lot of them go to the left, you know what I mean? Which, at the time, I was gutted I was leaving it all behind and what we started building. But at some point you've got to go, because there's always another manager in the horizon and a young manager coming through. And if I wouldn't have took the Preston job, someone else would have. But that would have been a loss to me. So we're all at. It was hard to take in terms of all the stuff, because the club could have dealt with it better, and they know that, and they apologised to me that, and I apologised to them. It should have been done better. And as you're saying, that the reporters then looking for a little angle to say about this, and Joe Edwards, the captain, come out and I kept all the messages off all the players, all the staff, and I archived them in my WhatsApp, because I thought I'll keep them for a rainy day, because everyone thought I'd fell out with the players. Yeah. I was one of them. I was the family. I built the family. I said to the players from day one, if you become a family, you become successful. We were successful in the first season, and being successful this season, what should we continue to do? Fantastic. And I'm thriving for him to get where I am. I want to play against him. I was gutted it never happened this year, because we're best of mates and we'll always be, and we talk on a daily basis, and he will take the club to the next level, because he will get the opportunity to do that under the chairman and the board directors, who are all good people. But as you know, not everything can go sailing. What do I come out on Twitter or say, listen, I'm sorry, I love you, but I'm leaving? Well, I'm still going to be hated anyway, aren't I? So it was dealt with wrong. I totally understand that, but listen, it is what it is. It's football, isn't it? When a special job, what I feel is a special job, I think it's a great two for me, Preston North End, and I'm a great two for them. We've sold nearly just short of 12,000 season tickets this season. The last time that happened was 50 years ago, so they can see something's building. And I've made no mistake about it. We want to try and get in the playoffs next season to try and force our way into the big league.
Well, it leads us in nicely, really. That obviously now Preston, all of those amazing things on the horizon, and Sam's doing a little bit of research. Sam's our research guy, really. So
teacher,
yeah, of course,
the most intelligent.
Yeah.
But
if he's the most intelligent, we are all in trouble. So Sam's been doing a bit of digging on Wikipedia, and obviously in terms of your playing style, you like to, the likes of Klopp and Guardiola and some of the other guys, and for you who's really influenced your career as a manager? Who's really, at the moment, who's out there, who's influencing your career that you feel like you've got a style, what is your style of play?
Where that come from, Gav, right, was...
I said Benitez and Gerrard as well, I said on Wikipedia.
Well, Stevie's a bit different, isn't he? Because he's my mate, and he's been the same manager time as I am. While he was 23's manager or 18's manager, I was like a development coach. So mine's a little better than his.
Yours is a big career.
Yeah, so now it is. And it's a bit different with Stevie. I just loved the way Stevie was as a player and his attitude and the commitment to everything, you know what I mean? But Benitez was obviously someone I looked up to as a Liverpool fan. I spent time with him when I watched Newcastle, when he was Newcastle manager, a couple of times, and picked his brains. Klopp, when we played in pre-season, picked his brains in there, and we had a drink together, and he was saying, the style of playing, which will bring me on nicely to in a minute. And then obviously Guardiola is one of the best coaches and managers in the world, isn't he? Let alone the Premier League. So what I said was, at the time, where that's come from was, why can't my teams try and play like a Barcelona, a Real Madrid, a Man City, a Liverpool? Why not try? So their styles are all different. They play 4-3-3s, 4-2-3-1s. Some might play 3-5-2 at times. So I wanted to have an attacking style of football. And then when we played Liverpool pre-season, Klopp said to me, will you be up there in the league next year? We actually drew 0-0. And I went, well, hopefully, yeah, that's the plan. He said, and is that your formation you're going to stick to, 3-5-2, because you look very well organised and you're well structured and you knew what you were doing. I said, well, it is now. You've said that. And it was a case of...
What do you think, Alison? What do you think?
Fantastic. And I thought, right, that's that done then. We definitely can never concede any goals against Liverpool when they were blowing teams away the season before. Anyway, I know they had a few missing, and then I sort of developed the 3-5-2 and learnt on it. Asked loads of questions, watched people who do it. Managers who play a 3-5-2, a 3-4-3, different managers play different style. I just wanted the Ryan Lowe style of football to be a front foot, energetic, getting bodies committed in the box, pullbacks, as you said, crossing in the box. I attack with 6 and defend with 4, basically. That's my motto. And I've had my fingers burnt before today by conceding down the other end and whatnot. In the Championship, you have to be a little bit more clever and maybe attack with 5 and not so much 6, and maybe leave one floating around the edge of the box. But I liked it because I was a goal scorer. I want my teams to obviously outscore other teams, and that's how we basically play.
So invariably, when you say attack with a 6 and it's 4, so you're back 3 and you're holding midfielder that'll do the predominant, and then the rest of them.
And sometimes if we're going down the left, I'm now, the Preston lads are just getting used to me a bit more now. I'm saying to me left side centre half, go on, keep going, step in, overlap, do what you need to do. And then we've got two centre backs who'll swing around as a 2, and then I'll have me 4 who can just sit in front there. 9 times out of 10, you know yourself, Gav, what are you going to leave 2 up? Well, there's a 3v2 in our favour, so that's fine. You're going to leave 1 in, well, 2 defenders should be able to look after 1, and then the ball comes out, my midfield's on the front foot. So, I try and be positive and brave in decisions of, especially when the ball's in the final third, to get overloads and create plenty of chances.
And football's changing so quickly. Like, what is the demand of players now compared to when we first started out is remarkable, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do your team have to be super fit?
Yeah.
Especially playing 3-5-2, the wing backs.
Under K between the whole team should more or less guarantee a win.
Yeah,
because that means your 10 out of your players have all done 10k. Now, I don't look at that all the time.
It's scary how
it
common
is, yeah.
Though,
like some of them, like, me left side the centre back and me right side the centre back are finding themselves doing 11k or 10.5k, and they're like, wow. Like, that's because I want you to join in. Me wing backs are up and down 10k, 11k. Me number 8s are running. Me strikers. Me number 4. He'll come off the pitch. Ben Whiteman at times go, I've covered 10.5, 11k. Then I go, yeah, good. So,
and he's supposed to be a number 4 to sit there and dictate.
Dictate and whatnot, but it depends. It depends what type of game you're in, doesn't it? And if you're in a competitive game and it's end to end and there's 2 teams, you've got to be about. And I've got a rule with my lads. All recovery runs are sprints. They're not jogs. You don't just jog back. Joe Edwards, I singled him out when we were at Plymouth, and I highlighted in front of the group. He was a captain. He jogged back and we conceded the goal. And he went, "It weren't my fault, Gaffer." I said, "No, it weren't. But look at your run." And he was jogging, and I ousted him out on it. And a few weeks later, he took it, to be fair, because he's a good captain, good leader and a good lad. A couple of weeks later, 92nd minute, his recovery run was a sprint, and he basically saved us a goal from conceding a goal. And I highlighted that again with the group. Went, see, 3 weeks ago, I was giving you a go for that. 3 weeks later, look what you're doing for the team. Perfect, that's what I want. So, again, you can't just jog back no more. Give the ball away, no problem, just try and get it back.
It's not far off being a common denominator, is it? Like what you were saying there, Dave. It is, if you can get your team doing 100k, it's very, very rare. Obviously, there's going to be occasions, but it's very rare you're not winning games, or certainly you're well in it.
Unless someone does 110k from you, and it can happen. It can happen, but we've been done by teams. We haven't covered nowhere near 100, but beat teams comfortably. So, but again, if you go 2-0 up in the first 20 minutes, you can sort of see the game out, can't you? You don't have to be bombing forward. If you're chasing a game, it can be a little bit different. But look, the eyes don't lie. They have all the stats and that now, all the GPRSs, but I know Dave Edwards is a runner from midfield. You know he's going to run whatever all game. You know Sam's going to run up and down. You know you're just going to sit there and
just sit and dictate,
fix it in, dictate,
and just hit it on a diag.
Don't you? I remember
there's no hiding place. You're saying with the aerial duels and all that. Like, no one can come. You used to have argument. No one can come back because you've got all the stats.
Everything's there for you, isn't it? Chances and pullbacks, and can you see that pass? Why didn't you pull that back to him? Didn't see him. Stop lying. Your eyes are up. You can't see him. You just didn't want to pass to him. Which again, selfish strikers will do that, and they'll try and score. No problem in that. I haven't got a problem in any of that. But what I do want is a team ethic that can run, work hard. If you outwork the opposition, but play your nice style and your brand of football, I like to think 9 times out of 10 you win more than you lose.
You can't carry players anymore either, can you?
No.
Not the days are gone of having a bit of a maestro or maverick in the middle of the park who's
struggled in today's game, then.
But no, you have to. The other teams are running, especially, and I think the Championship more than any other league is an example of that.
I had a lad in my team, right, and I struggled 10 minutes ago, and we were winning the game, and he was going sick at half time, and I said to him just before I was making a sub, "You all right?" And he went, "I'm all right." I went, "Okay, I'll trust him. He's a senior pro." He nearly cost us the game. I had to move him from one position to another position just to protect him. And he went, "There's no way he was going to come off with sick." I said, "Yeah, well, next time you make sure you come off." Because I made a sub when I could have brought him off, but he could have cost us the game. Yeah. Only for me thinking, I've made the sub, he's struggling, but he's not going to tell me he's struggling. Yeah. I'm going to have to move him somewhere else to get him out the crap, basically. And then I made a point of saying to him, "Don't ever do that again because you'll never play for me." Yeah. And that's just being honest with the players. I feel like, for me, I'm a good man manager. I know what they need. I know what I can give them. I know what excites them. And if I can continue to do that and they give me everything back on a pitch, then you got
to understand it's a 14-player game or 15 players, 16 players. The squad subject can make. you need all of them.
Because in one sense,
out.
it's commendable, isn't it? It's like you've got a player going, Gaffer, I'm all right. So in one sense, you're thinking he wants to throw himself on the sword and all that. But like what you're saying there is that honesty of being like, it's not about you. Look, I've got more respect for you if you can just say, look, I'm in trouble here. And I'll trust you that you're being genuine.
100%.
And
you give me an hour absolute bullseye, and you say to me, right, I'm ready to come off. You prefer that all day.
And that's what I want. You know, that's what I've said to him now. Because I was a new manager coming into Preston North End, a few of the players were like, I'm not really sure he knows that. Is he testing me? Because there's a lot of things in football, isn't he? He used to say, is he testing me? And he said, I can have a day off. Is he testing me? See if I really come in. So I'm not a tester, me. I'm just straight down the middle.
But that's hard though, Ryan, it? Because obviously there's managers at Preston, and those players have had previous managers who will have an ulterior motive, who will play them silly little games that we all know. We all know the sort of unwritten rules, aren't they, of like this silly little game and a man. So then you come in, breath of fresh air, and you're like, listen, like one thing that will happen here is honesty. Like what you get with me, there's no hidden agenda. This is what I genuinely believe. I'm giving you a day off. Is that a test? No. I've already told you. I want you to, like, are you going to be all right? I expect the same in return. You can understand from the player's point of view why they're a little bit reluctant to totally. And obviously that takes time, doesn't it?
I do get it, but I think, look, it wouldn't take, if I didn't know you, it wouldn't take me long to figure you out. That's the way I look at it. It won't take you too long to figure me out, because I always say there's no grey areas, it's just black and white. So if it's taking you 4, 5, 6 months to work me out, then we shouldn't be working together, because I'm not that type. I'm not a tester. Them days have gone, I'll test them on this, test them on that. Nah, it's bullshit, really.
So are you starting at a position of trust? Are you saying, listen, let's not waste time like building, let's just start there.
Trust each other. So we have a well-being thing of a morning, and it's an iPad. I don't know whether you've had it, and you go in and you'll put your thing on, and one player put it
just to see how they feel.
Just to see how they feel. So then that for me,
they give like a scale score.
Yeah, how tired they're feeling, how well they slept.
How slept you know what I mean? And again, that got brought in a crew, and I was like, you have to put it on when you sleep. I've done all, just do this, do that. And a lot of people just follow the number above them. But I thought, no, you know what? I need to know if my centre-back who's played Saturday, is fatigued, is tight, is stiffness, is his calf, so, you know, whatever. And then what one lad put, so obviously the lesser number is, the 2 or a 3, you can't train. 4 or a 5. One lad put a 7, and we're in 5th for the weekend, and I went, why did you put a 7? I didn't want to tell you the way. I went, well, that's not good to me. You need to tell me you're a 5 or a 4, so I know I can take you out the team. You know what I mean? It's no love lost. I'm not going to have a go at you because you're not available. I need to know, because as you used to said, championship's relentless. You know, if you're not going to be 5th in 90 minutes, no point you're even playing.
You're saying I actually will respect you more by telling me the truth.
It's difficult for players though. You don't want to lose your place. You don't want to do.
I know,
But Dave, years ago, difficult, isn't it? Because Sam would never say, I'm struggling here with an hamstring or a dead leg. You wouldn't do that. Now, I think it's different because the rotation in the squads and that now, and changing, personnel for different games and tactical changes. It happens, doesn't it? And the players have to buy into it. It's more acceptable now because
it's accepted more not the players it wears back in.
If you want to be successful, you've got to be successful. Whoever's stepping in for you, like I'm looking for 2 goalkeepers now, and I'm like making sure that the 2 of them are mates, and you're not going to backstab him and go, that one he's just let in under his arm, or you've got to be on the same page, because if you're successful as number 1, number 2 will be successful behind you.
Absolutely,
definitely.
Good culture to bring. What would you say are your main qualities in man management?
Yeah, look, I think my man management is probably one of my qualities, because I know what the players want, and I get round them a bit, and I'll have a bit of banter with them, and I don't mind the players
retired a few years ago as well, haven't you? So
4 years ago I'm more or less retired. But
did you find it hard to? Sorry, go back to you, Barry. Did you find it hard to separate that from a player to a manager?
At Bury I did, yeah. But what I had to do, Dave, was I had to nail it down and said to the players, look, it's not Lowe anymore, it's Gaffer. And I had 1 or 2 who were there that still call me Lowe, and I go, okay, that's fine, no problem. But they weren't even playing, and I knew why they were doing it. So that was at Bury. So I thought, okay, sound. So I'd just say it, all right, yeah. But I'd never call them their name, or if it was John or Dave, I'd never say their names. I'd say, all right, lad, you okay? Because I thought, if you can't tell me, you can't say to me, morning Gaffer, I'm never going to give you anything back to say morning Dave or morning Gav or Sam, whatever. I'm just going to say, morning lad.
And go to Plymouth, it's a clean slate then, so it's a lot easier.
And then look, the lads were fine. Everywhere I've gone in, I've just set the stall out straight away. This is me. I'm straight down the middle, black and white. There's no secrets. If you need anything from me, I'm with you. I'll support you through thick and thin as a manager. Anything apart from other, certain things. What people get into trouble for different things, but and with you all the way in it, because I always feel if I can give them everything, I want my players to go away and go, love playing for him. And the feedback I've had over the years, that's what a lot of players have said.
You mentioned before you had a 5-year plan when you was at Bury. I suppose you're not how far into that 5-year plan are you now? And are you further than what you ever imagined?
Well, you know what, Dave? I had a 5-year plan to be a coach, like a first team, a coach, development coach first team coach, then assistant manager for a couple of years, and then a manager. So like, however way it went over 5 years.
Well ahead of schedule.
And it just come like, within 5 years, well, 4 years, I'm in the championship now. So I'm like, whoa. But people say to me, have you had time to evaluate what you've done? I'm like, no, I'm just constantly on the go. You know what I mean? I've had some great family time now over this summer. You know, we're back in a few weeks, and then, you know, I'll just go again, head on, and see where it takes.
Did you set targets, personal targets in terms of obviously your team and things?
Look, I've got ambition, obviously, to manage in the Premiership against some fantastic and world-class managers. How do I get the Premiership? I get the Premiership by taking the team to the Premiership and getting promoted. I don't think there's many young managers like me outside the Premier League who may get an opportunity. I don't know, it might change over the next 5 years, but as we speak today, if a Premiership job come available, they're going for them, and they're not looking at any young coaches, managers coming through who've had success. So my way to get to the Premiership is by getting the team promoted.
And you're at a good place at the moment.
And we've had a fantastic football club, the resources, the training ground's unbelievable. Got a fantastic chairman in Craig Emmings, a fantastic CEO, if you like, sporting director in Peter Ridsdale, and you know, the board are fantastic, the people at Preston are fantastic, the fans are bought into everything we're trying to do, the staff, the players. So with a few more additions over the next few weeks, hopefully we can mount that challenge, mate. Yeah.
And it's been an unbelievable journey to get there. So obviously you've gone right through them ranks, League Two, obviously been promoted a couple of times, and now in the Championship. What's the difference from being a League Two manager to a Championship manager?
I think the players, the quality in League Two and League One, there's a lot of good qualities there. The Championship players are units, the big fellas, and ultimately you're managing lads who've been on bigger money for as long as whatever. You will get some egos along the way. We haven't got any at Preston because I wouldn't allow it. But what you've got to try and drill into them is, for me as a manager, is don't just settle for the Championship. Some people will settle for Championship. I said about the Preston North End team and the Preston North End teams over the years, they've just settled to be mediocre and finish in the top 12, if you like, or anywhere from 14 to 12 or 10th.
I don't Championship, Ryan, you can live a really happy life. You can secure your financial future forever, can't you? So you can see why that is. In League Two, you're scrapping, aren't you? Because you have to earn the money. Yeah. You want to get more money. I think Championship, you could play for 5 years in the Championship.
And you know what, mate? Some players have earned a lot of money, haven't they? And that's through no fault of their own. They've been given big contracts and come from Premiership clubs and whatnot. It is what it is. What I don't want to settle for. I always think if you're successful, the money will come anyway, won't it? Whatever way however way it is. Because if you're successful and you've come from League Two to the Championship, well, of course, everyone knows it goes up. The money goes up. The wages go up. The budgets get bigger. But what I'm saying is, don't just settle for being a Championship player. Go to that next level. You know, you look at the lad. Is it Luke Ayling? Is it at Leeds? Yeah. And this is not a criticism of him, by the way, but he was playing conference football, I think, for Yeovil, and went right the way through the ranks and ended up in the Premiership. And he's a solid left back, isn't he? He's not a world beater. He's not like a fantastic player who's played in so many leagues up and down all over the world. He's just a decent enough player, but his life's changed for the best because he's been in the Premiership.
What he has done is he's made the most of it, hasn't he?
Made the most of what he is. So attitude, application, spot on. And I use him for argument's sake. I used to use Catamol. I used to use Catamol, who played in the Premiership for years as like solid all rounder, we're an outstanding player, but must have graced the Premiership for 10 years. Dave's done it, come from the conference right away to the Premier League. I just feel if you want to do it and you want to be successful, you've got to keep working your socks off. And that's my message to our players is, don't just settle for mediocre Championship. Go and secure your families and your kids' futures for the next 20, 30 years by getting to the Premier League.
You could sign one player. Why?
One player then.
One player playing football now, so you can have anyone from
this would probably kill me, this, because he's
present
time.
Present.
Playing at the moment.
Present.
You're going to go Liverpool player, probably.
No, I'm not. I'm going to go. I'm going to go Phil Foden.
Why?
I just think he's going to be like the best player on earth in the next couple of years. Even now, he's a joke, isn't he?
Would you love to manage him?
I think he'd be a boss, down-to-earth kid. He's a Stockport kid, rough and ready. Well, in fact, I know he's a down-to-earth kid because I know a mutual friend who looks after him. And I haven't said him because of him. I've just said him because if any kids want to be a footballer, just watch him. He's burst on the scene at, 15, 16 was he at Man City? He's still only, 19 is he, or 20? He's going to be a superstar for England in the World Cup. So I think I'd say Phil Foden.
He's just that kid, isn't he? Like, you see videos of him on YouTube. Like, my boy gets it up. And he's just playing with Meg's his mate on the street and just playing in between the cars, mugging all of his mates off and that. And he's like, got his Man City shorts and he's like, right, I'm going to have to shoot, lads, I've got training.
Football is like you said, you'd love to manage a kid, right, wouldn't you, who just loves football like
goes
that.
back to a Rooney, doesn't it? That's
Lovely.
It must be
easy to manage in some ways, aren't they?
Type of players
they turn up and they love it.
Come from nothing and have now graced it. They're just unbelievable.
There's a common denominator there. I think lads who come from nothing, like they've just got that desire, haven't they, and that absolute hunger.
Love football.
Resilience,
Right, what we do, Ryan, all the time is you have to pick a five-a-side team.
I've seen this.
So what do we do? Should we do people with you don't have to pick us, Pampers.
I think it's probably safer doing players you played with rather than pissing people off you managed.
Players who you managed. I don't think you want to do that.
It's not many that could play five side that have managed.
Yeah, I think you better say players that you've played with, haven't you, rather than who are you going to put in goal? People a lot. You've been to a lot of clubs. Who have you got? Who's some of your top keepers you've played with?
Do you know what I'm going to put in goal? Because he used to jump everywhere. Stuart Tomlinson. Played with him at Crewe, went on to have a decent career at Burton Albion and all that, and then he could become a wrestler, didn't he? Went over to America. He Google him, lads. Wait until you see the body
you
on him.
Stuart Tomlinson instead of Joe Hart. Okay,
yeah, but Joe's big 6'7" dangly thing, and he can't get down for five-a-side goals. Are we talking five-a-side goals as well, though?
Yeah,
I think Dave put Joe's up front for his one, wasn't he?
5 Joe Hart, you had, didn't you? 5 Bales, you had 5 Gareth Bales.
Who was playing defence? Who was the best defender you played with?
Best defender I've played with. I'm going to say one of my good mates, Jed Nolan, the Bearscough centre-half captain, Skip. He'd be made up. I've given him a shout-out. He's like, just run around like that. Everything was dead. A little bit like you, Gav. He was just dead calm, and you know what I mean? Everything was like easy-ozy, you know what I mean? I played with them not long ago, and he's still running around just like... So, yeah, I'd have to put Jed Nolan.
What about midfielders?
Are you going for one defender?
Oh, you have one defender.
1-2-1.
Yes,
go one.
One defender. You only need one, don't you?
Yeah.
And a keeper. That's
you don't want too many defenders in the 10 a penny, aren't
they? Okay, midfielder. One and after. Got to be careful. Don't want to miss anyone out here.
Who was it? Chef Wade. He must have had some good mid-chef.
Donkeys, them, David.
What about your mate Shuey?
Yeah, you know what?
Do
you know what,
he's
mate?
a player, though, to be fair to Shuey.
Do you know what? I'd have to put Shuey in, or else he'll kill me, because he is actually a decent five-a-side player. When we were down playing, we used to have a five-a-side every Thursday night, I think it was. And we played it for a while before COVID hit. And it was my team against his, but my team used to always win, and me and him were so competitive, like whacking each other, and that was brilliant. So
I seen him play five-a-side when I come to watch it. He's not the most mobile anymore.
No. On the five-a-side, he's all right, though. Yeah.
But back in the day, he was a very good player.
I think he was my age, and I remember at sort of 15, 16, 17, he was England. He was the main one.
Yeah. Well, I was saying to Neil Jewsnip, who I brought down to Plymouth as director of football. Neil was his manager at Everton and stopped him going to West Ham and Liverpool for £1 million. He should have let you go. No. I couldn't let the captain of England leave, and I said, well, Shuey, that's why you're batting around the lower leagues. So I tell you who I'm going to put in the left side of him as well, and just because of Shuey, is Peter Sweeney. Did you play with? Do you know him?
No.
Left footer, played at Stoke and Bury. He had an unbelievable left foot on him. Was a joke.
Lefties are the best, isn't they?
He was. No, it's the best team. You just don't know any of them, but he was unbelievable. So yeah, so we're going to go Stuart Tomlinson, Jed Nolan, Stephen Schumacher, Peter Sweeney,
centre forward,
and my centre forward is going to be Luke Rodgers.
I feel sick. I feel sick.
He'll be buzzing with that.
Do you know why? Don't
he couldn't trap a bag of cement.
Yeah, I know, but it's five-a-side, and he just smashes everything.
Yeah, he's good. But in the charge, destroy everyone.
He never had no finesse or nothing. He used to just have this ball with them Nike Mercurials, and he used to go bang.
You would take the leather play with, weren't you? You would like.
Oh yeah. We had a good relationship when we played together. When Jemson, as I said, was either throwing one in or was sick or whatever, me and him used to play, and we had a great relationship. We scored a few goals together, but yeah. So five-a-side, centre forward, number 9, Luke Rodgers.
It's a good team. It's a good team.
Look up Peter Sweeney. Trust me.
Definitely. And the wrestler as well, Stuart Tomlinson. Definitely going to look at him. I'm all over him.
Ryan,
might have a career change.
Thanks so much. Amazing story
No problem.
from Burscough 18 to managing the championship.
Fascinating.
Amazing story. And again, like we have all the guests have been great person first and foremost. That's the most important
pleasure,
thing,
lads.
isn't it? So thank you so much.
I've got to say, and I'm going to put this out there now. Probably for me personally, that's probably the best one in terms of fascinating, getting to talk about like teams.
Man's a different insight in it from where you come from.
Want.
I think likes of lads who've been
come through
successful,
academies and all
and we're ready on the trail to go. Like with all due respect, Dave knew he was going to get where he wanted to get to. He come through a decent enough academy at the time, played professional football at a young age, and we man Joe, and they went on and had great careers. And I think someone like mine who've had to. You're saying about kicking balls around the streets. Well, he used to play Kirby's every day, and using cars for goals and stuff like that. It was, but again, I wouldn't change it for the world. I knew I weren't good enough at a younger age, and then you have to develop it and you have to learn to get where you want to get to, and that's what we did.
And as a manager, you've achieved more as a manager than what you did as a player in terms of the level that you're at, haven't you as well?
Yeah. Well,
long way to
which is
continue,
quite
mate.
difficult. Yeah. Well, who knows where we're going to end up? And off to Spain next week. Not going to Plymouth for holidays, no.
Definitely.
Stay out of there. And how good are these 3 tons, by the way, we've been given?
Yeah. Give Ryan hiccups there.
Can you just get us some?
We'll get 3 of these and get Ryan a pint of Gaviscon.
Yeah, you might want to put some Rennies in with that. Yeah.
Lovely, thank you for that.
Thanks, well done, everybody.
Love it, Lowe. Quality.
If you want to follow us,
yes, we're at inthestiffs@gmail.com, and everything on social media is at inthestiffs. So anybody wants any questions answered, any information, anyone wants another t-shirt, all those t-shirts will be going out this week.
Check out our YouTube and look at Gav's new jumper as well.
Oh yeah, so what have we got here? Got this In the Stiffs embroidered, given to us by Prince Pro. So new company who are doing all kits and everything that they can print on, basically.
And Gav, can you get some aircon in here because it's roasting?
Absolutely, yeah. I was buzzing. I got this hoodie on.
Love the bar, Gav. Anyway.
Yeah. It's looking all right.
Brilliant. Thanks very much, everybody.
Thank you. Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Just do want to say a massive thank you to our new sponsors, Budget Motors Group. Been absolutely fantastic with everything they've done so far. Been down to their showrooms.
Yeah.
Lovely people, aren't they?
Amazing. Really lucky.
And backed by Dave Edwards as well.
That's all they're in it for, really, aren't they?
Well,
they're not bothered about me and you, are they?
It's nice to get me and you to come along, is it, and spend 50 quid, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not sure they're overly bothered, but yeah, they've got Dave, haven't they?
Yeah.